Welcome to the Evolution of Springback clamps. We wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how we created this product and how we improved it significantly over time with a lot of testing and adjusting. So it all started with this illustration here. I made this in PowerPoint. I don't really have much artistic drawing ability, so I did it in PowerPoint. I was able to work with an online company that created a CAD file for me, and then we could go into creating our first prototype from there. This was the first prototype kind of sample that they sent me with the design, and obviously you can see some major flaws there. It can't open and close, but we're on the right track. We've got our springs there. So we tweaked the design to be able to open and close on a hinge basis, and then all we needed to do was design the lever closing mechanism. So after a lot of design tweaks, we finally got the design that we wanted, and we were off to start our first prototype. So here's our finished design. We are ready with our CAD file, and now we just need to find out how to prototype. So after a lot of research, I decided the best, most economical route would be to purchase a 3D printer and start making my own prototypes. So after dozens of hours of setting up and calibrating a 3D printer, I'd never used one before. In a few sleepless nights, we finally got our first prototype printed. It took almost 3 days just to get all the pieces printed, but we finally got something that we could actually assemble and test to see if it was working. But before we could do any testing, we came up with a bunch of fitment problems, and we had to go back to the drawing board a couple times, not completely redesign, but just completely rethink some things. And it was a lot of trial and error. We wound up changing the design about 4 different times, just with little tweaks and making things better here and there. And we finally got something that we could finally test. So this is our 4th revision of the design for the prototype. This was the first one that we were successfully able to test on the actual barbell. We did a bunch of drop testing, hours and hours and hours of testing, just to find out where our weak points were, and we found them for sure. So one of the weak points that we found was this little macaroni-shaped piece. It's part of the lever closing mechanism, and it kept breaking on us. So we had some made out of metal from a local machinist here. It was quite expensive to have these done, but we wanted to continue testing and eliminate that part so that we could find the other weak points. So we continued making additional prototypes and testing them, breaking them, testing them, breaking them again, and continuing to perfect our design overall as we went through the process. So now that our latching mechanism was no longer breaking on us every time we dropped it, we were able to do a lot more testing with it and find out exactly what direction we wanted to go with the design. But now we needed to think about that latching mechanism again, because the cost of those having those metal pieces machined was very high. I believe it was $50 per piece, which would make the MSRP on this item very expensive. So that wasn't an option, so we had to find a different route to go. So I invested in this new type of 3D printer. It's capable of printing nylon instead of harder brittle plastic like your most 3D prints. So this nylon material, much more expensive printer, much more expensive material, but significantly cheaper than having it made in metal, of course. Nylon has a little bit of a flex to it, so it won't be brittle and crack. And so this was the best move going forward to help further our design. So our next prototype had that integrated nylon clasping mechanism there, and this was a game changer for us. It really made a huge difference, and I was really impressed with this material. So we decided to continue that going forward on all of our prototypes. So you can see here in this prototype that we tested using the foot and the entire latching mechanism made out of nylon, and it was really impressive. I wanted the foot to be made in metal, but I just tested it here in nylon just to see what it'd be like. So we decided to stay with the nylon clasping mechanism and lever closing, and then go with metal feet on that. So while we were chasing down some manufacturing connections and trying to find those, we continued to do extensive testing. I made dozens of prototypes over several months period time, and we tested all of them with the help of a lot of my friends. Fortunately, the CrossFit community is a very tight-knit community, and there was more than enough people willing to help with the testing, shooting videos, shooting pictures, testing these during workouts, removing them, installing them, all of the different testing to find every little weak point that we could and try to iron out the whole process. During that testing process, we went through dozens of different prototypes and pieces and parts. I was constantly making new parts and repairing them so that we could continue testing, and I'm really glad that we did because we learned so much during this testing phase. So the day finally came that we found a manufacturer that would make it for us in aluminum, and we were so excited. You can see this is our first manufacturing sample, meaning they make these for you before they start manufacturing your product. They're made in aluminum here. They're anodized aluminum in that gold color. You can see the latching mechanism is nylon, exactly how we wanted it, and everything is looking really good in this prototype. So we got started right away testing it every way we could think of, dropping it, opening and closing it roughly, all the little things that you want to do to make sure that everything's perfect. So during our testing, we did find about 5 different things that we needed to change to make sure that we had a perfect product for our customers, and we worked with our manufacturer to make sure those were corrected, and we soon got another manufacturing prototype rolled out. So we go to production prototype number 2, and we're very happy with this one. It looks really great as soon as it showed up, but you can see we've still got the nylon latching mechanism. We changed out some of the pins that were rattling loose during our testing with bolts instead, so they won't rattle loose. I like it because not only is it more functional and obviously it's working correctly, but it kind of has a little bit more of an industrial look too, so very happy with that. Here's another shot of it. We're just very happy with how everything turned out. You can see there's only one pin now, and that's secured when it's in the closed position, so it cannot come loose. So it's kind of a captured pin. Everything else we replaced with bolts that look really great, and we're very happy with how it turned out. So we will proceed with production of this very product that you see here. This is our final product. Of course, the colors may change a little bit as we're manufacturing them, but we're talking to the manufacturer right now to get this run started, and we should be shipping very soon. So this is the model that we will be producing and shipping. You guys can buy it very soon. We have pre-orders going out right now, and we expect to be able to start fulfilling these orders in late February of 2023 or early March, just depending on shipping and manufacturing timelines. Thanks, guys.